Hi, welcome back to the Acme Achievers Learning NLP video channel once more. Now this is part 3 of our video series, the NLP and the art of modeling. Now in the first and the second part of this video, now we have already touched on the importance of discovering or tapping into the 80-20 rule, as well as this idea of getting into flow. Alright, so that there are actually 8 natural paths of getting into flow. Now in this particular video, we're going to go right into this 8 different ways in which many entrepreneurs over the past few centuries have actually followed to amass the fortune in their very own way. Now, but before we touch on that, now there's something that you need to know about this wealth dynamics, and this is this wealth dynamic square that I've actually drawn out right here. So what is this wealth dynamic square all about? Now it actually divides people into the way they think, as well as the way they take actions. So something first you need to know about the wealth dynamics is that there are two groups of people, mainly two groups of people, and this is what based on what they call the thinking dynamics. Now, some people, what I call people on the top of this wealth dynamic square, are people whom I term as the highly intuitive thinkers, or we say the high frequency thinkers. Now, and then on the other side of the wealth dynamic square, the direct opposite, we have someone who is more of a low frequency thinker, or more what I call a sensory thinker. Now, say, what is the difference between these two groups of people right here? Now, these two groups of people, through this different thinking dynamics, actually create value in a very different way. Now, by the way, just a very quick recap right here, that a wealth, right, according to this founder of the wealth dynamics, Roger Hamilton, now he mentioned wealth as value times leverage. Alright, so what is wealth really? The wealth is really all about your ability to create value, right, to the people, to the lives of others. Then you know what, times the leverage you're able to get from your team, and how systems, etc. So these thinking dynamics separates how people actually think so differently. So when people think differently, now they actually create value in different ways. So while people who are high frequency thinkers tend to create value through, these are the people who constantly have their heads on the clouds, all right, and these are people who therefore tend to create value out of innovation, right, coming up with new ideas that create value to the world. But now people who are more sensory thinkers, probably not as creative as, definitely not as creative as people who are at the other side of the wealth dynamic square, and based on their ability to think and to be acutely aware of what's going on around them. Now these are people who rather rely on the timing, all right, timing to be able to create value in people's life. Now see, what is timing? Okay, so rather than coming up with new ideas or creating value through the way of innovation, right, people at the bottom of this wealth dynamic square, who are sensory thinkers, tend to create value, right, through being able to spot, right, when to buy at the right place and at the right time. All right, so these are people who know when to buy and when to sell. Later we're going to touch on this this profile type here in a very short while. Now, what about this other side here? See, the horizontal side of the wealth dynamic square actually separates again people into two main groups. Now, the people on your right are people who are more known to be extroverts, right? Naturally good at working with people. Now, while at the other side of the wealth dynamic square, we have the people who are somewhat more introverts. And you know what, again, the way in which they gain leverage now will be slightly different. Okay, so while people who are people oriented tend to leverage through people, right, being able to magnify themselves or making themselves so important, because without them, now this team wouldn't be able to grow. Right, now people on the other side of the wealth dynamic square leverage through a different way, and that is through what I call multiplication. Now, what do you mean by multiplication? Now, because people on this left side of the wealth dynamic square tend to be better at systems, right? So they leverage best through systems. So while people here are focused on leveraging by making simple things more complex, now people right here now tend to to try to make complex things simplify them, right? Now, so that it's easier, so much easier for the things to multiply. So these are what I call the action dynamics and thinking dynamics of the wealth dynamic square. Now let's plunge right into this 8 different wealth dynamics profile, and through this process, you'll be able to more or less have an idea of which profile type you probably actually belong to. Now again, you know what, having said that, now I would highly advise you to take this wealth dynamics profiling test itself. Now we do offer this wealth dynamics profiling test, and now the reason being that there were people who are so conditioned to what they have been doing for the past few years, and they're probably in the wrong career and in a business which they are unable to tap into their full potential. But now because they have been doing it so long, now when they actually did the wealth dynamics profiling test, now they will be amazed to realize that, hey, you know, I should actually be doing my business in a different way, because you know what I have been doing so far is not going to lead me into my flow. All right, so highly advisable that you take the test. Now, but let's go right into this 8 different profiles, right? So starting with the person on your right on the top, as we mentioned earlier on, people who are the highly intuitive thinkers. We have someone known as a creator. Now, who is a creator? Creator is someone who is, of course, generally good at innovation, constantly coming up with new ideas. Now, these are the group of people whom you meet every few days, and you know what, they're constantly full of new ideas, and just love to share these new ideas with you, right? Constantly brainstorming new ideas, and yet while they are so good at creating new things in their life, now creators are definitely good at starting things, but not definitely not as good as in the areas of completing their task. All right, so now creators who tend to do extremely well are creators who have learned the art of delegating, right, works like have to doing with details to the other team members right here. So, and thereby some examples of famous creators who include people like Steve Jobs. We have people like Bill Gates and Richard Branson. Yeah. Now then, moving on to clockwise to the person on your right, who is, well, not just good at ideas, not just creative, but someone who is also as good in the areas of dealing with people, slightly more of an extrovert as compared to the creators. We have someone known as a star. I say, who is a star? All right. So if the creator is someone who sets the stage, now the star is probably the one that's going to steal the show. All right. So a star, being a star, just simply love to be in the spotlight. And what we begin to realize is that most stars who are highly successful do not actually need to start from scratch. Now, meaning to say this, it's not a completely new idea that they actually develop. But you know what? They are able to tap into what is existing and actually magnifying this brand. All right. Someone like an Anthony Robbins is a very popular star. So he was not the one who created Neuro-linguistic programming, NLP. But it was only in the 1980s, that Anthony Robbins, being a star, was able to bring NLP across to the mass market, which the original founders, Richard Bandler and John Grinder, did not actually manage in the early 1970s. So this is a star who is extremely good at thinking on their feet as well. All right. So, and now moving on to someone on your right again, is we have someone known as a supporter. Now, do not be misled by the word a supporter. Now, because a supporter actually tends to make the best leaders. And say, why are they good at leadership is that supporters are the people who are highly extroverts, and these are the people who tend to be, they are natural networkers. And because of the ability to connect so well with the people from all different profiles, now they are the natural motivators, all right, of the team. And some supporters that we find tend to do really well in roles such as a manager, as well as CEOs that we can see. Someone like a Jack Welch is a very, or Steve Ballmer, highly successful supporter. So rather, than asking this question about, what is the business that should I get into? Now, some of the most successful supporters tend to ask themselves this question, which is, now who should I support in the business? Now, as in the case when Jack Welch decided to support the business of Thomas Edison. All right. So moving to further down now to the clockwise, now to someone who is now less of a creative individual but more towards a sensory thinker, we have someone known as a deal maker. Alright, so why is he known as a deal maker? Now, a deal maker, a successful deal maker will probably be someone that you often see right on the phone, right? Because these are the people who are constantly clinching new deals and being able to spot the right time, to bring the right people together. And deal makers who tend to do really well in the industry tend to find this a niche, all right? And so people who need to be able to get the business done would actually go to the deal maker, knowing that hey, this is the person that has the connection, someone who's naturally good at building great relationships, business relationships, right? A deal maker. And then from the deal maker, we now move on to someone, right, the direct opposite of a creator, and someone who's especially good at creating value through timing. So someone known as a trader. Now, so who is a trader? A trader necessarily do not need to be the so-called the trader in terms of the profession, but traders are people who just simply love hunting for the best bargains. All right, people who are extremely good at negotiating, customer service, and traders, of course, because you do find them in the trading floor, and these are the people who are able to spot very well in spotting opportunities. All right, so this is the life of a trader, also someone who is extremely good at building long-term and deep relationships. Right, so then we move on to the towards the left, and now towards someone who is now slightly more on the introvert side. In fact, very much an introvert. With someone known as an accumulator. Now, who is an accumulator? Someone like a Warren Buffett. Okay, this is Warren Buffett is an accumulator. Well, you know what? Unlike the star, which is at the direct opposite of an accumulator, right? Now, a star truly values taking risk in their life, all right? And these are people who tend to spend so much more because it's all about building the brand. Now, accumulators would prefer to take the route of security, all right? The route that more have actually have gone through. So accumulator will be the last person who is going to be willing to take a huge risk in their life. And the accumulators are the ones that are going to believe that it's the slow and steady that always win the race. Yeah, that is an accumulator. So if you're someone who values security and is very much risk averse, you're probably an accumulator. So now, rather than thinking about ways to create a new business and to amass your wealth, your fortune, now this could be your way of creating a wealth for yourself, just like Warren Buffett. All right. So as Warren Buffett always says, the number one rule about investing is to never lose money. All right. And let's go on to someone on your extreme left. Someone who is an extreme introvert is a lord. Someone known as a lord. All right. So lord, as the word lord actually implies, someone who truly loves to control. Right. A lord is someone who really loves to ensure that things are going the way they want it to be. And lords are also very well known for their thrift. All right. Their ability, now this amazing ability that they have to be able to squeeze cash flow out of assets which they do not even need to own at times. All right. And some of these lords that we know of who are extremely successful will be, as we can see around us day to day in our daily lives, are people who own properties, and renting out properties to earn this income, all right, passive income. So this is the way of creating wealth through the law. And then we have finally, of the 8 different profiles, we have someone known as a mechanic. So who's a mechanic, you say, you know. Now, while the creator is someone who is extremely fabulous at getting things started. Now, a mechanic would be someone who is better, much better off at completing things. Alright, so someone who is highly creative as well, but not in the sense that they get things started from scratch. But mechanics are more well known for their ability to complete this cycle of creation, and being much better in the areas of creating new systems. So mechanics are the people who are, you know, the perfectionists, people who are constantly finding new and better ways to get things done. Alright, so while creator is constantly experimenting with things, you know, probably not, you know, it's not about just finding a better way of doing things, but they just love simply creating. Mechanics create with a purpose of making things much better. Alright, examples of mechanics will include Ray Kroc, you know, the so-called, now he's not exactly the founder of McDonald's, but he was the one who developed such a powerful system, and that's exactly the reason why now we are seeing McDonald's in every part of the world today, all because of Ray Kroc's vision. Alright, ability to create is a powerful system. And of course, our very own Singapore Minister mentor, Lee Kuan Yew, right, is a mechanic. Now, these are the 8 different profile types of the wealth dynamics. Now, of course, there's so much more that we can actually learn about these 8 different profile types. And now, if you truly want to find out, now if you're really excited and you know if this is something that actually appeals to you, right? Now we do have this NLP sharing sessions, and through that sharing session, I'll be more than excited to share with you more about this wealth dynamics profile and how this profile is able to help you take your current business to the next level. Well, so this sort of wraps up the 3 parts of a video series of NLP and modeling. Now we trust you have enjoyed this entire video right here. Now, so till we meet again, remember to live with passion and unleash the star in you.